A viewer who was recently on the Disney Wonder stated that a crew member claimed that they're jumping ship to the Disney Adventure in New York, then sailing to LA, Japan, South Korea, and finally Singapore. So this comment on one of our recent videos really got me thinking, is this possible or just wishful thinking? Today, we're diving deep. Marie Gabrielle said, quote, "I'm from Australia and recently my husband and I went on the Disney Wonder from San Diego to Vancouver. One of the wait staff who will be jumping ship to the Disney Adventure informed us that the adventure is going to New York first, then to Los Angeles, to Japan, to South Korea, before making its way to Singapore, as he will be on it from New York." They go on to talk about the potential route and their upcoming cruises on the adventure, but this really got me thinking, is there any chance at all that the Disney Adventure is actually going to come to the United States before its 5-year contract in Singapore? Now, for those that you have been watching for a while, we have talked about this. There was one rumor that stated that the Disney Adventure might come to the US. Just as a quick recap, the Disney Adventure is that ship that Disney Cruise Line purchased from another cruise line. That cruise line went bankrupt and Disney got this ship for a great price for cruise ships, and this was already 70% completed when Disney purchased it. So Disney Cruise Line really had to retheme and redo this cruise ship to fit their brand, while also keeping it distinctive and unique for the Asian market. This cruise ship is massive. The Disney Adventure is approximately 208,000 gross tons. It can accommodate over 6,000 guests. Its maiden voyage will be on December 15th, 2025. These will be 3- and 4-night magical days at sea cruises from Singapore. They do have a contract with Singapore for the first 5 years. We don't have the itineraries for all of that, so this 3- and 4-night magical day at sea thing may change, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. There's so much to see on this ship. Captain Mickey and Minnie Mouse will be featured as the stern characters for the first time ever. It is just extra themed everywhere. It's going to have 7 themed areas. The Disney Imagination Garden is a lush glass-roofed atrium filled with topiaries, flowers, winding pathways. It's really designed to evoke classic Disney park gardens. This is going to be the ship's central meeting spot. It's really meant to be like a stage in the park. They'll have a lot of shows here, which means they're going to have even more shows than any other ship. They will also, in this area in particular, have a Marvel show, a Big Hero 6 exercise show. It's just going to be busy all day from what we are seeing. They are going to have Toy Story Place, where it looks like we are meant to be the toys. This is going to have 2 interactive splash pads, a family pool, plus a couple of water slides. The San Francisco Street is the one I am most excited about. It's modeled after the futuristic city from Big Hero 6. It's really going to have really technologically advanced arcade games, and you can even be in one of them. Town Square is the main street feel. That's where you're going to have the character meet and greets. Disney Discovery Reef will give you that feeling like you are actually inside the ocean. Wayfinder Bay is inspired by Moana. This is an open-air lagoon. It's going to have a pool, snack bar, an actual bar, and it's even got a new Moana show that will be there as well. And Marvel Landing is the crown jewel of the ship, I think. This is a multi-level arena for thrill seekers. They're going to have the Iron Cycle Test Run, which is an 820-foot roller coaster, the longest roller coaster at sea. They also have the PIM Quantum Racers, where you can do some go-kart racing, and Groot Galaxy Spin, which is a spinning ride. Groot is one of our favorites. That'll be really cute. In addition to all of that, they also have immersive new restaurants like the Navigators Club and Hollywood Spotlight Club. It looks like these will have special appearances with Mickey Mouse, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy Duck. And special and unique to this cruise ship only, they are going to have a Marvel comic book that is a collaboration between Disney and Marvel. Marvel, they are also going to have Duffy and Friends on the high seas. They will have an all-new Duffy and Friends show. There's going to be meet and greets, photos of course, and lots of Duffy and Friends merchandise. They did make a huge merchandise announcement for the Disney Adventure recently as well. How cute are these outfits? I think this is probably one of their better Spirit jerseys. They're going to have over 17,000 square feet of merchandise and shopping available on the Disney Adventure. And for concierge guests, they have 2 exclusive shopping experiences just for them. I really like this elegant tea lever. I love the fan. I love to keep a fan with me when I'm on the ship. If you love classic Disney, you can't go wrong here. And they've already teamed up with National Geographic for Adventures by Disney Explorations, so it makes total sense to me that they now have teamed up for merchandise as well, of course, for the Explorer. So, this is the route that our cruise source described. Boarding in New York, sailing through Panama to LA, across the Pacific to Japan and South Korea, and then on to Singapore. But do the logistics back it up? Can they even do this route in that amount of time? And is there any reason that they should? Well, first of all, the Panama Canal. So they start in New York, pick up crew, head south through the Panama Canal to LA, probably pick up more crew, cross the Pacific to Japan, South Korea, and then finally to Singapore. On the face of it, it sounds logical. There's nothing official though. The official Disney Cruise Line schedule says something completely different. The Adventure's maiden voyage leaves Singapore on December 15th. That's this December 2025. So we checked the port calendars in New York, LA, Florida. 0 entries for the Disney Adventure. So the first big question here is, before getting into all of this, can the Disney Adventure even transit the Panama Canal? And actually, surprisingly, it does technically fit. As big as the Disney Adventure is, the Panama Canal's limits were increased by the Neo Panamax. These limits allow for the Disney Adventure to fit. It will technically fit through the Panama Canal. So, timeline. How long is this journey? Will it fit in before their maiden voyage? Because that's coming up fast. Now, first of all, they've got to get over here. Then, once they are here, New York to LA via the Panama Canal is probably about 10 to 12 days. LA to Japan is about 10 to 12 days. Japan to South Korea, another 2 days. And then South Korea to Singapore is another 10 days. That's 35 days at sea minimum. And that does not include any port stays, crew handovers, trainings, canal transit slots that they have to wait for the Panama Canal, plus the advance notification that the Panama Canal requires, and any contingency for delays. So we're going to be conservative. We're going to add 2 to 3 weeks here. That brings us about 6 to 8 weeks total for them to make the route from New York back to Singapore. That doesn't include them coming over to the US. So if the ship must be in Singapore by the December 15th maiden voyage, that means it has to leave US no later than late October, and ideally before then to buffer delays, because they really don't want to take a chance in being late for their maiden voyage. That's cutting it really close, and that's assuming that Disney even planned it. So if it's got to leave the US by late October, it would have to be in the US, I think, no later than the beginning of October. Now, what's interesting about New York is that New York is shown back up on Disney Cruise Line's website. It is under their embarkation ports again, and it hasn't been on there for a while, at least not that I saw. So this is intriguing, and we'll have an entire New York video coming up in the next few days. But back to this video, I don't see any evidence yet that they might actually do this, that this has been confirmed. So let's beg the question a little bit, why would they even bother? I see 3 reasons that this could definitely happen. PR buzz in the US, you could have surprise media sneak peeks, travel agents, journalists, all can get on board, try things out for the day. That gives them a lot of footage and a lot of information to use to promote this ship, which would be very advantageous to the sales, I believe. Also, crew staging and logistics, New York or LA might be easier hubs than Singapore. We have seen them go around and pick up crew before, so that would not be completely out of line. And this one is rare. This ship is unique. North America needs something fresh. Everyone's used to the same old coastal ships, and the fact that this one is almost an amusement park at sea makes it even more rare and unique. But there are quite a few disadvantages. 6 to 8 weeks just to get from the US back over to Singapore. That's really pushing Singapore operations back. That is really having a tight timeline. We haven't seen much of the adventure yet. It could be because they're gonna bring it over here, but also they typically hold this information until everybody gets on board anyway, so there can be a big push of a whole lot of footage from a whole bunch of social media and media people. So I don't know, I'm 50-50 on that, but the cost for this would just not be advantageous, I don't think. The fuel, the port fees, the repositioning, it is very expensive to take a cruise ship just across the seas, let alone adding in all of those other stops with actually no income, because nobody's paying to get on the ship while it's over here. At least we haven't seen it available to purchase, so that's where I'm standing at the moment. And then of course they've got that 5-year agreement with the Singapore Tourism Board. They do have to be committed to that, and I don't know if there's any legalities in there about the ship coming over to the United States before that, or if it's supposed to be exclusive to Singapore. I could see that being a dynamic as well. So, is the rumor logical? Yes, the route makes sense on paper. The ship fits in the Panama Canal. They could be doing crew prep, crew pickup, training. There could be marketing reasons that they would want to do this, but it's also highly improbable given that there's no public or port level confirmation, especially now that we're getting this close. And also, since we're getting this close, that's a very tight timeline. Budget-wise, I don't think it's a smart move, and there are no official documents or planning or even any other rumor posts saying that it will come to the US. So I think this is theoretically possible. I think that it's also extremely unlikely, but I am holding out hope. This route makes sense, but it just doesn't add up under scrutiny. I mean, that would be amazing to see this ship in New York. Imagine zooming past the Statue of Liberty at 40 miles per hour on a roller coaster from your cruise ship. I mean, that's just very cool. New York and LA would both be unique for the Disney adventure because currently Disney Cruise Line does not actually cruise out of New York or Los Angeles. There are locations for big media events. As a matter of fact, the most recent ship, the Disney Treasure, had a christening event in New York. So, I mean, you really can speculate both sides of the coin here. But I think it's a bit more wishful thinking that they would actually come over to the US before their Singapore contract. But let me tell you, I hope I'm wrong. So what do you think? Think Disney might pull off a secret US showcase of the Disney adventure? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more Disney cruise news, we've got a full half hour that I dropped just recently. We've got updates on that heroes and villains ship, the new Disney Destiny. Of course, there's a few pro tips. They have decreased rates for reservations, increased specialty dining. We dive much deeper into the new updates on the Disney Adventure, including a look at the roller coaster up close. All of that new merchandise, plus new holiday packages for Halloween and Christmas, a new shipyard calendar from Meyer Werft that shows the next class of 3 smaller ships, and even more Disney Cruise News 2025.